All right. Hello, everyone. I know some people from YouTube are already here. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I see Kevin Hawthorne, Rhea, Evelyn, Guerma, Irena, Julio, and Radwa, and Ermedin, and Jane, and Elvira. Thank you, everyone, for being here early. I know that we are live on YouTube right now, but I can't tell whether or not this is working on Facebook. Let's give it just a moment or two to see if we get comments from anyone on Facebook, or I can check my Facebook. I just want to make sure that this is working correctly. Okay, yeah, we are live on both Facebook and YouTube, and I'm just going to take one moment to send the link to this in my Facebook broadcast channel to make sure that everyone on Facebook knows that I am live. YouTube is pretty good about notifying people, but Facebook does not always work well. All right. Anyways, let's begin. Today we are talking about the words trip and travel. And first things first, I already have a video about trip and travel. I'm going to share that with you in the comments so that if you want to watch that after you finish watching this one, you can. Because again, today we are only talking about the word trip when we use it as a noun. And we are only talking about the word travel when we use it as a verb. However, there are also other ways to use these words. You can use travel as a noun. You can use travel as a verb. You can use it as an uncountable noun, and you can also use it as a plural noun. But that's too much stuff to talk about today. I don't want to talk about all of that. And again, it's because I already have a short video about that. I'm sharing the link in the comments right now. Don't go watch that one right now. Right now, stay here in this live video with me. This is just going to be about 25 minutes today. And then when you are done, you can watch that other video if you want to. I just sent the link in the comments a moment ago. And that link that I just sent in the comments, that talks about trip, travel, journey, voyage, and adventure. So in that video, you will learn how to use all of those words. Today, we are practicing using trip and travel. So today, you're going to have the opportunity to learn with me and create some sentences, and I will check some of the sentences for you. And again, it's just going to be about 25 minutes because I have to go somewhere very soon. And this is a simple topic. It doesn't need to be too long. I don't want to waste your time. I will check the comments for about 30 seconds. See lots of people saying hello. I see Facebook people are here now. Good. So it is working on both Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining, and let's begin. So again, trip and travel. For talking about going places. Because yes, there are also other ways that you can use the word trip. For example, if you're walking and your foot hits something and you fall, that is to trip. But that is not what we are talking about today. Today, we are talking about how we use these words when we are talking about going places. And the first thing is that travel, again, it can be a verb, it can be an uncountable noun, and it can be a plural noun. If you want to learn how to use it as an uncountable noun and a plural noun, make sure to watch the video that I shared in the comments. But again, don't do that right now. Right now, stay here. Because right now, we are going to learn how to use travel as a verb. That is what we are talking about today, how to use it as a verb. But there are other ways to use it as well. So, first things first, I wanted to start with this, travel to, because I've seen a lot of people try to use travel in. And we do. We do use travel in sometimes, but we don't always use it. When we are talking about going from this place to this place, we do not use travel in. From one place to another place, we use travel to. So this is the main one that you are going to use, travel to. For example, I hope to travel to Thailand next year. I hope. That means I don't have a plan, but in my mind, it would make me very happy to do that. So, first thing I want everyone to do is send me a very short sentence about somewhere that you hope to travel to. And it could be, I hope to travel to, I want to travel to, I would like to travel to, up to you. But try to give me a simple sentence using travel to correctly. I'm going to choose 5, just 5. I'm not going to choose a lot of them. I'm just going to choose 5 of your sentences to check and put on the screen for everybody. So again, right now, I want you to use travel to in a sentence to talk about going from this place to this place. Also, when we use travel to, we often think about going somewhere for fun, for relaxation, for leisure, for enjoyment, for holiday. However, you can also sometimes say things like travel to work. That is correct. However, most of the time we use it to talk about traveling for enjoyment. I see someone with an Arabic name is posting a link. Do not click that link. I do not know what that is. I am blocking this person right now. Do not click that link. Only click links if they were sent by me. If it's sent by another person, I do not know what that is. Oops. I'm trying to block them, but they're sending too many and it's difficult. Sorry, you guys. I hate it when people are rude when I am trying to help you all learn, but I have blocked that person. It should be okay now. Okay, now I am going to check some of your sentences. First one, I want to travel to Switzerland one day. Very good, very good. From Jantara, thank you. Very good. I want to travel to Switzerland one day. Guerma, I hope to travel to the USA. Very good, very good. And everybody, remember, when you have something like US, UK, you need the before it. You can't just say travel to USA. It needs to be travel to the USA. Good. And Guerma did do that correctly. Very good. Before we go to the next one, someone has a very good question. So, should we use traveling with one L or two L's? And the same thing in past tense. Should it be double L, E, D, for traveled, or should it be one L, ed for traveled? Um, I sometimes mix this up because I spent a long time working with British people, but I think that in the United States we use one L, but in the UK they use two L's. So in the US, traveling one L. In the UK, traveling two L's. Good question. I hope to travel to England. Good. I want to travel to my back home. So this should be I want to travel back to my home. I think I would just say I want to travel back home. However, I probably wouldn't use travel when talking about my home. I would probably just say I want to go back home, or I want to go home. But good question. I have never traveled to India. Good. But you need a period at the end of your sentence. You need a period. In the US, we call it a period. In the UK, they call it a full stop. But you need that little dot at the end of your sentence. I hope to travel to Thailand. Perfect. Very good. I'd like to travel to the United Kingdom. Good, good. So you don't need capital THE, but I know that you're just trying to show me as an example. Good. But you do need a period at the end of your sentence. Okay, good, good. So again, I'm not going to check every sentence. It looks like people understand this. Let's go to the next part of the lesson. So the next part, again, we do sometimes say travel in. You can use travel in, or you can use travel around. But this is not about going from this place to this place. This is about being in one area and going multiple places in this area. For example, I would like to spend several weeks traveling around Mexico. So, traveling around Mexico. That does not mean going from the United States to Mexico. That means going from Mexico City to Tijuana to many different places in Mexico. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of all the places, but it means that you're going from this city in Mexico to 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 this city in Mexico. So traveling in or traveling around means that you are inside one area, going multiple different places within that city, within that country, within that continent. And again, you can use travel in or you can use travel around. In focuses a little bit more on the fact that you are in that area, and around focuses just a little bit more on the fact that you are going here, 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 different places within that area. But that's a very, very small difference, and honestly, they really mean the same thing. However, most of the time, I think that I would usually use around, travel around. I don't think I say travel in very often. So I would like you to try to make some sentences like this one, travel around. For example, we traveled around Europe for 2 months last summer. We spent 2 weeks traveling around Southeast Asia. Something like this. So send me some of your sentences and I will check them. Okay, so this is good. And you have a period at the end of your sentence. Very good. But countryside, you need the countryside. So 99% correct. It should be, I love traveling in the countryside. Very, very small thing. Overall, excellent job. Very good. Is this lesson going to be available as a video? Yes, this lesson will be saved to my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. I do not delete my live lessons. So if you want, you can go back and watch all of my old live lessons also. I would like to spend a couple of weeks traveling around Europe. Very good, very good. But you do need a period at the end of your sentence. I'd like to spend a month traveling around Saudi Arabia. Good. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Capitals S, capital A, period at the end of the sentence. Very good. I would like to travel around China for 1 month. Good, but again, you need a period or a full stop at the end of the sentence. Traveling around Egypt helps you to know more about its great ancient civilization. Very good. I would like to travel all around the world. Very good. But you need a period at the end of your sentence. Jane, I would like to spend several weeks traveling around Thailand. Perfect. Very good. Okay, I think we understand this. Again, I can't check every sentence. We have limited time. So let's go to the next part of the lesson. And the next part is how we use the word trip. So, when we are talking about traveling and we are using trip as a noun, it is a countable noun. So today we're going to say a trip. In some situations, you will also make it plural, trips. I went on 2 or 3 trips last year. But for today, let's keep it simple. Today, let's say a trip to mean one. So it's a countable noun. And when we use trip, we often use go on or take. You can say go on a trip or you can say take a trip. You can also use make a trip, but that's not what we are talking about right now. We will talk about make a trip at the end because it's different. These two are very, very similar. Make a trip is different. So for right now, go on a trip and take a trip. We use these when we are talking about going somewhere for fun, for leisure, for enjoyment, to relax, to have a good time. Usually that is how we use these. But sometimes we do talk about taking a trip for work or going on a trip for business. Yes, we do that sometimes. But usually when we hear someone say go on a trip or take a trip, we think about vacation, holiday, fun, relaxing. And there is a very small difference between go on and take. We use go on when we use go on, it focuses just a little tiny bit more on traveling and the experience. But when we use take, it focuses just a little bit more on the deciding, the planning, the choosing, the thinking about where we're going. But again, that's a very small difference. And I think that about 99% of the time, you could use go on or you could use take. They mean the same thing. It really doesn't matter which one you use most of the time. So don't worry about that too much right now. There's not a big difference between these. No one is going to be confused if you use this one instead of this one or this one instead of this one. It doesn't matter 99% of the time, but there is a very small difference. So because we have go on and take, when we use past tense, they become went on a trip and took a trip. Went is past tense for go, took is past tense for take. So, for example, I went on a trip to Michigan recently, about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. I don't know. But recently, I went on a trip to Michigan recently. So I want all of you to tell me about somewhere that you went in the past. Maybe it was recently, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was last month, maybe it was 2 years ago, up to you. But I want you to write a sentence with went on a trip to or took a trip to. So send me some sentences with one of these. And please, when I'm doing these live videos, I understand that you have lots of questions, but please try to do the things that I'm asking you to do. Try to participate in the lesson. It's a real lesson. Just like if you are in the classroom with the teacher and the teacher says, "Please make a sentence using the word trip," you're not going to ask the teacher about something different. um, so it's okay that you have other questions, but I'm not going to respond to your questions if they are not about the lesson. So please try to focus on the lesson right now. I went on a trip about 3 months ago. Perfect. Very good. What's the difference between a trip and a journey? Again, like I said earlier, I shared a link in the comments. If you want to watch that video, I have already shared that video in the comments. I went on trip to Canada 4 years ago. Good, you forgot one word. You need a. I went on a trip to Canada 4 years ago. But overall, very good. You have the period at the end. Very good. I went on a trip to Chicago last month. Period. Good. Very good. Perfect. Perfect. Don't we use the present perfect with recently? Yes, you can, but we don't always. I took a trip to Germany last month. Very good. I went on a trip to Vienna last year. Very good. Okay, so this one. Before 3 months, we went on a trip to the UK. So you need the UK, but also we don't say before 3 months. What we say is 3 months ago. So 3 months ago, we went on a trip to the UK. 3 months ago, we went on a trip to the UK. But thank you. Thank you for sending your example. Similar problem here. This one is very close, but it should be I took a trip to the US 4 years ago. I took a trip to the US 4 years ago. You need to take a trip after all these events. So your sentence is correct. I don't really know what it means or who you are saying this to, but it's a good sentence. I would like to go on a trip to Thailand. Perfect. Good. Very small mistake here. I went to a trip. You can't go to a trip, you go on a trip. So very close. I went on a trip to the Greek islands a month ago. Just change the first two to be on. I went on a trip to the Greek islands a month ago. And I think you probably know that, and it's just a mistake that you made while typing. I understand. You can also use embark, but embark means to leave. It's not about the whole trip. Embark is not about going and being there and coming back. Embarking is only about leaving from the first place. So if you say last week I embarked on a trip to Spain, that sounds like right now you are probably still in Spain. Or maybe you're sailing across the ocean and you still haven't arrived yet. I went on a trip last week. Good. Jasmine, or not Jasmine, Evelyn. Why did I say Jasmine? Evelyn, be careful because I took on a trip to the jungle. I went on or I took. So you can say I took a trip to the jungle, or you can say I went on a trip to the jungle, but we wouldn't usually say I took on a trip. Okay, and last thing that I want to talk about, the last thing is that we do sometimes say make a trip. We do this sometimes. However, this focuses more on time that you need to spend going somewhere or effort that you need to make going somewhere. Oh no, I have to drive my car for 30 minutes. Oh no, I have to fly on the airplane for 12 hours. It sounds tiring. It sounds a little bit difficult. I don't know if I want to do it. So it doesn't sound fun. Um, for example, I've made that trip several times. It's not fun. It's a long trip. I don't like it, but I've made it several times. Or I have to make a trip to the store later. We often use make a trip when there's a reason why we have to go somewhere. It's not for fun, it's because I have to buy some milk and some bread. I have to make a trip to the store later. So I'm not going to check your sentences for this one because I don't have enough time right now. but I just want you to see that we usually use take a trip and go on a trip when we are talking about traveling for fun. Make a trip makes it sound tiring, difficult, boring, not very fun. So we're going to review very quickly. We use travel to talk about going from one place to another. So going from the United States to Canada or the United States to Mexico, travel to. I want to travel to Mexico. I traveled to Canada last month. We use travel to, not travel in, because travel in and travel around we use to talk about going multiple places within one area. And again, go on a trip, take a trip, very, very similar. 99% of the time, you can use either one. It doesn't really matter which one you use. There is a very small difference. We talked about it earlier, but I don't want you to worry about that. They're very similar. And we use these when talking about going somewhere for fun, leisure, relaxation, enjoyment. And finally, when we use make a trip, it focuses on the time that we have to spend going there, the effort, the energy, and it doesn't usually sound very fun. So yeah, that's the main stuff that I wanted to tell you about these words. Again, there is another video that I already have in which I give you more details about how to use trip, more details about how to use travel, also how to use voyage, journey, and adventure. And I already sent the link to that video in the comments, but I will send it one more time right now. So if you'd like to, I've just sent the link. You can go watch that in a moment if you would like to. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend watching it because it has more details than this live video. And the final thing I want to say is that for anyone who is interested in learning how to speak English without a partner, how to speak by yourself, again, most of you already know this, but my ebook is now available online from the website teachable.com. I've just sent a link for that in the comments also. So for anyone who is interested in my ebook about how to practice speaking by yourself, the link is below. The ebook is $5. Feel free to buy it if you are interested. But yeah, I've got to go. I have to go somewhere right now. So thank you all very much for joining. I will come back in an hour and read some more of your comments, see if there's any other good questions that I need to answer. So thank you all very much for joining today, and I will see you all next Tuesday at the same time because my live videos are always at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays, or 10 p.m. UTC on Tuesdays. 10 p.m. UTC is the same thing as 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all for joining, and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening or night, depending where you are. But yeah, that's it. Goodbye.